Welcome back to Scottish Movies, and it's time to show you my complete Arrow collection. Let's get started. Okay, so yeah, I've got quite a few Arrow titles to show you, and yeah, let's get on with it. First one up, we've got Dawn of the Dead. Yeah, absolute classic film from I think it's 1978. I think it is, something like that. This is the zombie movie set in the shopping mall, and obviously it was remade a few years ago. I think it was 2004. I really enjoy that movie as well. For a remake, it's very, very good. But yeah, it can't beat the original. Yeah, classic zombie movie. That's Dawn of the Dead. Next up is another zombie movie, and I believe this was an Italian film. And I really quite enjoy this. I was recommended this by Jason Brett on his channel, and I do agree with him where the ending's a bit. Yeah, it's a bit a weird ending. I'm not too sure about it, but as it goes along, it's pretty good movie, and it's Nightmare City. Yeah, I think, like I say, I think it is an Italian one. Yeah, it was originally Italian, but it's got some pretty gruesome parts in it, and yeah, quite enjoy that one, Nightmare City. Another zombie movie, a running theme. I think I remember watching this one when I was younger, but I've not seen it since, and that is Zombie Flesh Eaters. This was from, what year is this one from? I don't know, it doesn't say. I can't remember, but yeah, this is from, as I think I saw this when I was growing up, when I used to watch all these movies from the old video shop, and I'm pretty sure I saw this one. I've not got a chance to watch this yet again, but I know it's like an all-time classic. So yeah, that was Zombie Flesh Eaters. Next up is a movie I picked up quite recently in a charity shop, and this was just for 25p, or basically it's part of 4 for £1, so it cost me technically 25p, and it's the Arrow edition of Tenobre. Now, I don't know anything about this. It's a film by Dario Argento. I believe he's done quite a lot of movies. Again, I think is it Italian? I want to say it's Italian. Yeah, Italian horror. I know he's done quite a lot of movies, and this is quite a well-known one. Hence, I have heard of it. Just not seen it. I know I've only had it a few weeks. I've not gone around to watching it yet, but yeah, for 25p for an Arrow, I wasn't leaving that behind. So interested to see what it's like, and if I don't like it, I could always trade it in. Okay, next up is yet another quite recent buy for me, and this was a movie I got on holidays in CX. I think it was about a £5, and it's like another 80s slasher, and it's called Edge of the Axe. I watched the trailer for this. It looks a bit of fun. Again, I've not got around to watching it yet. It's from 1987, it says here. But yeah, it looks like a sort of standard 80s slasher, so it might be a bit of fun. So yeah, that'll be good. Next up is a movie I was sent a subscriber mail by the lovely Kaz99000. Thanks again for this, Kaz. Unfortunately, I've not got around to watching it yet. It looks like a British horror movie called The Ghoul by Ben Wheatley. Now, if I remember rightly, he's the guy that did the Kill List, which I watched once, and it was something that I never wanted to see again. Hopefully this isn't one of those, but yeah, it sounds quite interesting. Yeah, stars, is anyone famous? To be honest, I don't recognise any of the names, but yeah, British horror might be pretty good. So that's The Ghoul. Yeah, another film I've still not watched. This stars Kurt Russell. I picked this up on holiday last year in CX, so 12 months on I've still not watched it. It looks like some sort of cop movie called Dark Blue. From, what year is this one from? 2002, I think. Yeah, plays an LA cop. All about a story of corruption and all that. In 1992 during the LA riots. So I don't know. Yeah, comment down below if you've seen this one, guys. If it's any good. Well, I'm gonna get to watch it. Again, I got it on a voucher at CX. So yeah, I'll get round to it. I tend to do that with a lot of arrows. If I find a few arrows in CX, I'll take a punt on them. Sometimes I'll watch the trailer and see what I think. Next one is a film by the creator of Gremlins and Inner Space, which are my favourite films. And this was Matinee by Joe Dante. I've watched this film. It's a very, very good film. I remember getting this. I think Jamie Powell bigged it up on his channel, and I thought I'd give it a whirl. And yeah, it's a really good film. Set in the 60s. All about this sort of movie theatre that puts on an old sort of B-movie on the screen, and it's a bit of a kind of reminded me of a bit of like Stranger Things and sort of with the kids, but yeah, it was a good movie. Oh, of course he did the Verbs as well, Joe Dante, which is one of my favourite films, and I've actually got an arrow that's going to be coming up in a minute. But yeah, that's Matinee. I do recommend that one. It's very good. Next up, another film that was a sort of a blind buy in CX, and I have actually watched this one though, and it's called The Car. Yeah, this is a really good film. It was like a bit like reminded me of Steven Spielberg's Ghoul. Well, obviously instead of a truck, you got a car, and yeah, I have seen this one. It was good fun. From 1977, so it was done around the same time. I don't know if it's done off the success of Ghoul or what, but yeah. So I just starred James Brolin. So yeah, that's good. It's worth checking out if you can find the car. Next up, we've got an 80s film. I think the majority of these might be 80s now. Oh no, I've got one more. Starring the wrestler Roddy Piper, and it's How Comes to Frogtown. I watched this back in the day. I can't remember really anything about it. I've not rewatched it yet. I do enjoy They Live with Roddy Piper, the John Carpenter film, which is a great film. This one, I'm not sure. It's from 90. What year is it? I think it's sometime in the 80s. I want to say 86, I'm not sure. But yeah, Hell Comes to Frogtown. Might be crap, but yeah, I've picked it up anyway. Next one was another blind buy. Actually, I got this in FOP, I think it was, last year. But I've actually watched it. It's the title that got me. It's called Mega Time Squad. And this is actually a film from New Zealand. And it was basically, it says Out of Time Without a Clue. It's basically kind of a sort of a time loop, time travel film. It was a bit weird, but I did enjoy it. One thing with this one, a lot of bad language in it, if you're not a bad language fan, but I'm not too fussed. But yeah, it was quite interesting. It's worth a watch if you can find it cheap enough. I can't remember what I paid now, maybe about £5 or something. But yeah, it was a pleasant surprise, that one. I quite enjoyed it. And up next, we have a classic from Wes Craven. That's The Hills Have Eyes. I have seen this again back in the day. I've not watched this Arrow release yet, but it's a bit of a classic horror film, really. Yeah, I just remember this guy right here, proper freaky. But yeah, it obviously spawned a sequel, which I think is on the Arrow label as well. But yeah, that's The Hills of Eyes. Coming on next is the aforementioned Joe Dante film, The Verbs, with Tom Hanks. Absolutely love this film. It's fantastic. It also stars Carrie Fisher, and Corey Feldman, and I'm trying to think of the other guy's name. There's an older guy in it. I can't think of his name. It says Bruce Dern. That's it, Bruce Dern. Who, yeah, he's pretty good in it. But yeah, very very funny film, The Verbs, about this sort of neighbourhood where these new neighbours move in and they think they're basically murderers and they've got people buried in the backyard. But yeah, it's a very funny film and highly worth checking out, from 1989. Next up, we've got a bit of action with old Dolph Lundgren in Red Scorpion from 1988, I think it is, 88, 89. Yeah, I really enjoy Red Scorpion. It's probably one of the best of Dolph Lundgren's action movies that he did, sort of just on his own. Yeah, I also remember there's a scene in this where they're driving along in this truck and he's having a sort of a fight with these guys in this truck. And it's got the cool Little Richard song, Long Tall Sally playing, which was also featured in Predator. But I really like that song. This is just a really cool scene where he's kicking ass basically in this truck while you got that tune playing. I need to give this a rewatch. It's been a while since I've seen this, but yeah, that's Red Scorpion. Next up is a film starring Eric Roberts, Rebecca De Mornay and John Voight, and it's Runaway Train. There's some weight in this. It's just 2 discs and a really thick booklet. But yeah, it's quite an heavy one. Runaway Train, yeah, this is from, I think, the 80s as well, 85. I'd never seen this back in the 80s, but it's a really, really good film. Basically about a runaway train. And so like I think it's like a heist or a prison escape, I think. And they end up on this train. But yeah, great movie. Next up, we've got one of my favourites from the 80s, and it's John Hughes' film, and of course it's Weird Science. 2 guys basically creating a woman on the computer. He also stars Bill Paxton in one, I think it might be one of his first roles. But yeah, a fantastic film, Weird Science. I have watched this. It is a good transfer as well. And yeah, I was always picking that up. Next up, I've got another classic from the 80s, Robocop. Absolutely adore Robocop. I remember actually having a couple of copies of this on VHS back in the day. I had bought it, and then I won a copy in a competition. Funnily enough, I think if I remember right, they were supposed to get a T-shirt, and yeah, they were out of T-shirts, so they sent me another copy of the movie. So yeah, strange fact there for you. But yeah, Robocop's an all-time sci-fi classic. If you've not seen Robocop, where have you been? Just don't bother with the remake, in my opinion. There's only one Robocop, and this is it. I did get the standard edition as well, I think. I can't remember whether at the time they had the special editions in stock, but I just got the standard edition anyway. Next up, another all-time classic from the 80s, from 1982, and it's John Carpenters, The Thing. Yeah, another sci-fi classic that everyone should have in the collection. Set in the in the Arctic, with this creature from space, and it's just going nuts basically. But yeah, fantastic movie, I think. Another staple for anyone's collection. Another Arrow you have to have in your collection. Next up is a musical. And this is a sort of an unofficial sequel to the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and I've always loved this movie, and it's Shock Treatment. This is quite sort of ahead of its time. It was kind of a look at reality TV, and it does star some of the people from the Rocky Horror Picture Show in it. Obviously, you got Richard O'Brien there, Patricia Quinn, and strangely also had old Dame Edna, Barry Humphries. Bit strange, but yeah, yeah, I think there's great songs in this. I recommend this film. I think it's some great songs in it. It's pretty funny. It's also got an appearance from Rick Mayall in a very, very early role. So yeah, that's Shot Treatment. And the final arrow in my collection is another sci-fi classic from when I was growing up, and I've always loved this movie as well. And it's Terry Gilliam's Time Bandits, another time travel movie with appearances. I think there's John Cleese's in this, who plays a fantastic role. He's very, very funny. You got Sean Connery. There's loads of quite big actors in this movie, just doing sort of cameos. And also stars David Warner again, who died recently. I think he was, if I remember rightly, he was like the villain in it. But yeah, if you've not seen Time Bandits, it's another one I highly, highly recommend. And that is it for my arrow collection. I have had a few other arrows over the years. It's one of those labels that you tend to sort of pick. I tend to pick titles up in CX for like on the vouchers. They don't really cost me anything. Give them a whirl, and if you don't like them, I'll trade them back in. And they kind of hold the value. I mean, I've had the Hellraiser series in the past. I bought the box set for a decent price and then traded it in. Pretty much got my money back in CX because I'd not watched the Hellraiser movies and I wasn't really a fan. So I got that. I think I watched a film called The Stuff, which was just probably a one-time watch for me. It was quite amusing at the time, but yeah, I traded that in. But there's been a few, and there is also other titles I want to pick up in the future. I know Heathers is one that springs to mind, another 80s classic. But yeah, I don't think you can go wrong with Arrow. They get loads of special features. As you can see there on Time Bandits, they do great additions. You get the old reversible artwork as well. So I think they do great packages. But yeah, comment down below what's some of your favourite Arrow releases. Don't forget to like and subscribe and give the video a share and ring that bell for more videos like this. And I will see you next time. Bye guys.